Welcome back, everybody. Wednesday morning show off and rolling here as we are the day before the day. NFL draft begins tomorrow in Green Bay. We might have to get a status check on Eric because he's been gone for a week. He's been looking forward to this for about 2 years since they announced the draft was going to be in Green Bay. So I know he's pretty pumped about tomorrow. We're pumped as well to follow what's going to happen over the next few days. Obviously, we talked plenty on what Gray Zabel's future may be determined tomorrow night. For a few other Bison, they also are going to find out over the weekend what their football futures look like, including our next guest, who I've had the pleasure of getting to know since about his sophomore year of high school, and now looks like he might be a professional football player in a few days. From Ada, Minnesota, Mason Miller joins us this morning. It's great to see you. I know we were visiting off air about ready for this to be over and done with. What are the emotions today, right before the draft?
Just excitement. I mean, it's just such a cool thing to have happen to you. So, yeah, it's just a lot of excitement going on right now.
So for people that don't know, Mace, give us the update of what life has been like since the national championship game in Frisco. What have the last 3.5 months been like?
Yeah, I've been down in the Twin Cities training. Been doing that, going pretty hard at that. Pretty consistent lifting from 7:30 or working out from 7:30 in the morning till 2, 3 in the afternoon. But yeah, just been kind of doing that, living down there, trying to enjoy the process.
You got invited to an All-Star game because we visited the day after the championship game. You were staying in Texas. Give us the lowdown on that and what that experience was like.
Yeah, it was a super great experience. I mean, at that point in my career, you're looking for any opportunity to just get out in front of these scouts and, kind of get your name known. And that's exactly what that provided. College Gridiron Showcase was the event that I attended. And, I was able to go and, prove myself and then, talk to these scouts because they get to know you on a personal level at these things. I mean, they're talking to you for sometimes half an hour. So to just go and do that, and, have them kind of understand my character a little bit better was a really good experience.
How much do you think that helped to get you on more scouts' radars?
Well, for sure. I mean, Miami came up and talked to me, and they were like, "Yeah, you weren't even on our radar going into this weekend." And now, like at the time, they said they really liked me. So it's just kind of. I mean, I wonder how many other teams were thinking that exact same thing.
Yeah.
That they watch Gray, they don't even know who I am really. But yeah, and then they can go back and watch the film, and so.
I always go back to the title game as well, being on a Monday where there was no other games. Did your representations tell you, hey, there's there might be some more feedback just because there's no other college games on that night to see you out there?
Well, yeah, for sure. There was actually a lot of scouts at the game. A lot of these scouts they don't live in the city that they work for. Yeah. So a lot of them live in Texas or Florida or some of these areas. So I think scouts that I talked to at the CGS, I think there was 5 of them that attended our game at Toyota Stadium.
That's pretty good as well. Nothing better for the help on the resume there. So that goes down. You go to training house, you're working in the Twin Cities, and obviously those guys specifically work with offensive linemen. What were you working on, and was it anything football related over the last little bit?
Oh, yeah. So Alex Boone, I don't know if you've heard that name. He's an offensive lineman, great guy, great player. We've been training with him. So the way it worked was right away in the morning, 7:30, we would start with our agility training, kind of the combine stuff, the 5-10-5, your 40 start, that type of stuff. Then directly after that at 9 o'clock, we would go down and do offensive line stuff for about an hour and a half. So we were getting position work, combine work, and then a lift after that. So I've been, I feel like I've improved a lot just my game in the last couple of months working with him. So
to have that basically be the job, what has it been a grind? Has it been enjoyable? A little bit of both. How would you describe the last few months?
It's been enjoyable, I would say. You don't have to worry about anything else. It's kind of at times it kind of stinks because you do all that and then you go back to an apartment where you're by yourself and all you do is think about, well, why are reaching out right now, or what else could I be doing? So it's been a blessing and a curse at times.
We had a chance to visit at Pro Day. Describe what the reaction out of that was that you got, and how much did that help the cause getting ready for this weekend?
I thought especially the drill work I did pretty well in. And that's kind of what I had heard. The agility stuff was, obviously everybody wishes they could run faster, jump higher, all that stuff. But to be super critical, like obviously I wish I could have, but I thought the day went really well. Heard a lot of good things coming out of that day and going into the draft here.
What did you get your 40 time? What was it?
I think it was 5.3 something. So
were you happy with that?
Yeah, for sure. Before I was like, all right, we can work with this.
When was the last time you ran a 40, by the way, prior to getting ready for this whole process? When was the last time you actually did one?
I don't think I ever have.
Yeah.
Maybe football camp in the summer or something like that.
Describe this whole process now, and I want to talk about, obviously, you're going to be at home on Saturday, what this has been like for your hometown to embrace this and get ready for what potentially could happen over the weekend.
Yeah, it's been fun. You come back and you talk to everybody, and everybody's super proud. But something that I always think about is like I wouldn't be where I am without the people that have poured into me. So they've kind of built me up, made me who I am, and I'm just a reflection of everybody that's impacted me throughout the years.
The fact, Mace, you played 3 separate spots, you played all over. How much that positional flexibility is another key word to get thrown out now. Is that a big deal for you? How much is that helping you?
A ton. I mean, the best ability is availability, especially right now. Down at the CGS, I ended up taking snaps at center, which the coaches loved. And, just to have that on my resume, I mean, I probably only took 3-4 snaps, but, they saw that, did well. And to just have that ability is super crucial to finding a team and sticking. So.
As your agent told you, are they looking you inside or outside? Like, have you heard anything specific on that?
A little bit of everything. So, I mean, if you can because I think the majority of teams only travel 8 offensive linemen. So if you can be a guy that plays all 3, that's one less guy that they have to worry about. So having that flexibility is going to be really crucial.
Just have the kind of feedback you've got. Has there been anything that you're like, oh, wow, I didn't expect to hear that? Like, was there anything that caught you off guard or maybe resonated that you've gotten feedback-wise over the last little bit?
Yeah. One of the offensive line coaches didn't directly ask me, but asked somebody that I know, asked if I had skinny legs. And I do. I mean, for an offensive lineman, I do have some pretty skinny legs. So I just thought that was kind of funny. Something I need to work on, I guess.
Is that a bad thing for an offensive lineman?
I don't know. I have no idea. I know Coach Larson said that he likes to find guys with skinny ankles. So got that going for me, I guess.
That's a different one. I've not heard that before. What's the emotion like for this weekend for you? Is it excitement, nervous, want it to be over, combination of all 3? Where are you at?
I think leading up to Pro Day, there's more nerves than leading up to the draft because there's really nothing I can do other than talking to teams right now. And I have a decent ability of talking, so, I'm not too nervous about that. But like all the hay is in the barn in terms of the draft right now. It's nothing I can do to control it. Whatever happens, happens. I hate that statement, but that it is right now. All the work that I put in up to this point is going to reflect on Saturday. So
you were visiting with me off air. You said you've visited with 20 teams so far.
Yep.
So describe what that is. Is there a common question that you've got in the process, or has it been kind of all over the place?
Been really all over the place. Down at CGS, I think I ended up talking to 15 or 16. They kind of do interview style, like you're speed dating almost. They bring you in, sit you down, bring you in, sit you down. So I had talked to quite a few there. And then over this last really 2 weeks, I've had a lot of follow-up calls and then new teams reaching out just to kind of verify everything, verify information. And they kind of just talk to you to see what kind of person you are as well. So.
And you told me you got a Zoom tonight with a team, correct?
Yep, I do. So I'm pretty excited.
So when that happens, are they mostly like this? Their Zooms is what's going on?
Yep. So I believe we'll go over plays and stuff like that. They'll teach me a play, start talking to me, and then at the end of the meeting, they'll have me recite the play, see how much I can recall. Then they'll shift the formation, drop a different defense. Well, how would you block it here? So it's kind of just all that football knowledge that you have.
That's pretty cool stuff. Give me off the top of your head, who was the one guy either in practice or game that you faced? Like, boy, this guy was nearly unblockable. We couldn't block this guy. Is there any who comes to mind when I ask you that?
You know, so hard. It's so hard to say because you game plan sometimes around a different player or whatnot. I didn't really have too many issues with that many people this year, thankfully. Playing with Gray, and we kind of worked each other. We built each other up, so that way we didn't have those issues this year. Probably the best player that I played against was number 0 from Mercer. He's a pretty athletic cat. So
he's transferred out. He's going to an SEC school, so he was all right. He was pretty good. People have asked me in the past about, especially from your high school pedigree, you were great in basketball. Did you ever consider doing basketball collegiately, or was it always football?
That's what I wanted to do until I started getting football offers, and then that ship kind of sailed, and I had a sit down talk with some people and real heart to heart. And my ceiling was much higher in football than it was in basketball. Being a 6'6" center doesn't get you very far in the basketball world. So that talk with those people and guided me down this path. I mean, it's been really cool doing this. So
couple minutes left here with Mason Miller. I remember having Coach Tingham on the show, and when you were getting recruited and having Minnesota and some big time schools walking through the halls at Ada Borup. What do you remember about that, the recruiting process?
It was super cool. You're getting called out of class for these different things, and they're putting you through little workouts in school and whatnot. It was really cool. It doesn't happen very often in these small towns, especially up here. But it was just a really surreal experience.
Last thing for you, bud, to see the continuing line of NDSU offensive linemen go to the NFL. Obviously, Gray is going to get a call, whether it's tomorrow night or Friday. Certainly seems like you are as well. You play with a bunch of guys that are in the National Football League. What's that mean to you?
It's just super special. At NDSU, you talk about upholding tradition all the time. So now getting to this point, Gray and I are just going to try to uphold that tradition of successful offensive linemen in the NFL. That's all that it's been, and it's all that it'll ever be, is guys continuing to uphold tradition. So,
all right, I always ask you this. Now I got to get you on the record. Now that we're on TV, give me who's the next up and coming lineman we don't know? Who's the guy that could pop this year that we don't know about?
Noah Stummis and Nate Tosted. I was super impressed with both of those as young tackles. Cade Okeson. Cade probably had the most improvement that I saw throughout the entire fall last year until he ended up getting sick and had some issues. But, he probably had the most improvement. So he'll probably be my favorite to watch improve over these next couple of years.
Okay.
Because the growth that he had over the 3 months of fall that he practiced was really, really cool.
It's great to see you. Super excited for you and your family. Tell your mom and dad I said hi, and I'll get off the phone so anybody's calling here so you can take some calls. Good luck. We'll talk this weekend, okay?
Thank you, Dom.
There he goes, Mason Miller from Ada, Minnesota. He'll be getting his phone be ringing sometime over the next few days. Mace mentioned to me 20 teams he's spoken with. He's got a Zoom tonight with a team in the NFC West. So it's going to happen. It's just the flurry of activity. If there's that many that are talking to you, it's just like I mentioned with Cam Miller, same thing. There's too much buzz for them. Maybe not a draft pick, but certainly going to get a free agent deal. And sometimes, I know we got to roll here, sometimes the free agency route is the best way to go. You can be selective and look at a roster and say, oh, maybe I have a chance to make this one, rather than be hamstrung to a team and you don't necessarily have that flexibility in trying to make a decision. Appreciate his time there. We'll break. We come back. We'll wrap up our first hour. We come back. We'll start hour 2, and a burgeoning offensive lineman we'll visit with about his collegiate commitment. That's coming up when Hot Mike returns on a Hump Day Wednesday. Back after this.